welcome back to another episode of Talkin' Shit ATL with your hosts Amanda Ellenberg
and I'm Prodigy Q.
And we're not going to talk about the phantom ghost in the room, but we are definitely discussing a serious topic today. But we're going to fill you with as much information as possible. Before we get into all the ins and outs of that, though, I do want to play an icebreaker game. And I don't want anybody to think that I'm making fun of what we're going to talk about, because I'm not. And I'm not making fun of the topic line that we're going to talk about. But I think it would be really funny to hear what it is with Schmarts Against Humanity. Mm-hmm. So let's do a My Strange Addiction story.
Okay. Okay.
We are talking about addiction today, y'all. We're talking about the science of it. Hey, little boy. Come here.
Okay.
All right. And he's so close to the mic, so I'm sorry. We're gonna try. Y'all, we need a wrangler. We need a whole team together, and one person is just wrangling him.
I'm sorry, look at these things I'm getting at the same time. And
why are you taking so many?
What are we doing? How many are we doing?
I was thinking about just doing a couple one-offs and then a story time. But we can do story time
I didn't
first.
know. Okay.
But I was just thinking maybe 3, but we can do 5.
I don't know. We don't gotta do 5, but
you put back your 2 least favorite then, or whatever. How many? Oh my god. We don't have to do a whole story. We just say My Strange Addiction. Unless you think of a story.
Okay.
Oh, well, I guess we could do a story as the 3 different ones.
Okay, so My Strange
Yeah. Okay, I got it. Okay, so My Strange Addiction really started out when I met a bunch of liberals. You know, they were introducing me to all these new things I hadn't experienced in my southern little life. And it I was hanging out at a liberal sex party, but it was like a kinky one. So it was I keep on forgetting to look at you. I'm just like monologue to the camera. But it was like a strange addiction, or not strange. It was a strange kink party. Not kink shaming, but it was a strange one because we kept on running through scenarios, and because we were trying out people's weirdest fantasies, we started running out of semen.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it was a big problem. And then finally, after we went through so many more ideas and got stranger and stranger as the night went along, but we finally found one that made us all feel so exhilarated and on top of the world and the sexiest little bitches in the world. And that's when I first started my strange addiction of eating boogers. Really gets me off.
Yeah. Apparently everybody else at the party
once
the semen ran out, boogers were aplenty.
Yeah. You gotta introduce something else salty to get some salt flowing.
Yeah.
You said, oh, yeah. You're trying to support.
Yeah. Well, I I understand the issues and things that come with addictions, and and it's I know that we all have different ones and strange ones, and me as well, myself as well, have a addiction with diversity, and it's something that's just plagues me day in and day out, where I'm constantly looking for places just where people are more diverse, or where there is a need for more diversity. I'm almost obsessed with it, and so typically when you begin to get on the quest of anything, sometimes you go down the rabbit holes, and I was just in a quest for something that was just so diverse, something that doesn't have a lot of representation,
right.
And I stumbled into this group, and it was a group that really catered to a fetus with penis breath. And it was just
yum.
so crazy, because it's the thing, there's a whole world of people, who
need that representation.
Who need that, yeah, exactly,
yeah,
and so I stand with them, and
10 toes behind,
10 toes behind, looking for these fetuses, looking for this penis breath, and as a matter of fact, we're gonna wrap this up soon because I have to go. Oh
my god. Okay. And on that note, let's pick one last one that's our one off my strange addiction, then we'll get into it. Are we going on that?
What?
Okay. Cool. So, go ahead with your strange addiction.
Well, we're in a time right now where things are quite political.
Right.
We are in the middle of election year. And when I think about the election, I begin to again get so consumed in the history of our country and and then how the whole democracy formed and all these things but there's this one thing in history that's just really kept me captivated, that I've just become so just overly obsessed about it. I just read stories and I look at history and I just just read on just so much stuff, and I'm just hooked right now, and I can't just get over it, and I'm just fiending right now actually for just more information about the 3/5 compromise. Because at one time, he wasn't a whole person, he was just 3/5 of a person,
Right.
And and lots of things tied into that, through that too, things in the Civil War, and need that proper representation, and oh man, do we need it more so now? I tell you what.
Yeah, for real. That's for real.
Yeah.
There's so many things.
Yeah, right.
So when I was a little wee girl, I grew up. There was a time where, houses were possible, where dreams. This is what dreams were made of. That was the time.
Well.
Yeah. And, I really started huffing that shit in. I was like, woo, I'm dreaming.
Snorting those dreams.
Yeah. Picture the clouds.
Yeah.
Yeah. America. That's what I said. And from that day on,
America.
My drug of choice has been the American dream.
And I think I can also attest that is a lot of our drug of choice. We are looking for...
Doesn't even exist anymore.
We're looking for the high that we were promised.
Actually, really, I guess it never existed. Just houses were more affordable. That was the only thing. But the actual American dream, didn't really. I guess just the house existed because you were paid enough for the economy.
Right.
But...
And unfortunately, the white picket fence was sold separately.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
Woo. So yeah, that's how we're gonna start that. And now let's talk about addiction. And mostly, I have a lot of stuff on. I have a lot of scientific information on it, but I do want to share resources. 988 is a suicide prevention hotline. Please call that if you're struggling. It's free, open 24/7. And then specifically for substance abuse and mental health services administration is 1-800-662-4357. It's in English and Spanish. So definitely use your resources when possible. So yeah. And then, I guess to start it out, I'll do this. I'm about to get rid of this tonight, but although I discovered I have some issues with alcohol that I didn't really notice until I wasn't drinking at all, of like more of like the social aspect and anxiety and feeling like I need to be under the influence, and like under the influence a lot, to be liked and to be fun and to be like what everybody would want me to be. And I felt that like super, and to fit in, and I felt that pressure so hard. And I feel like I've really broken that. But as far as addiction, it was never like an addiction, a full addiction or anything. Because when I was by myself, I didn't care to drink. But one thing that is an addiction, that today is my last day, is vapes. So these are from like the year. I started at some point in the early spring and I had them from that to just show like how many it was. And this is like, I only started from January 5th on, July 5th on, I only brought it to work and like really didn't hit it much outside of that. But before then I was buying like 2 or 3 a month. And when I was really, the most I ever did was like 4 or 5 a month. And yeah, just, it always feels like this incessant need to have it. I'm still not broken it. I literally have spent time like they're down to nothing, but there's like a little drop in there, and I've like still gone like this is like, and that's even more unhealthy than me actually smoking the product, because then I'm getting some of the cotton in there.
Yeah, right.
Which is horrible, but like the incessant need in my brain to have it, like it unconsciously is telling me I will not be happy, I will not be fulfilled until I have this, which is honestly so wild that something like that would teach me that, because it literally couldn't be further from the actual truth. Like, it does nothing but harm me and make me unhappy in the long run. So yeah, on letting go of things that don't serve you any good, even if you like them. I'm having a non-alcoholic beer. I haven't tried it before. My roommate gave it to me, and yeah, we'll see how it is. But I don't even drink these much. I've had my roommate gave these to me like 2 weeks ago, and I haven't even tried it. Oh, wow. And I haven't had any other ones since Labor Day weekend. Oh, wait, no. I don't even know if I have one Labor Day weekend, because I brought them and then I made little juice mocktails. Oh, really? So, yeah. Cheers to that. Cheers,
right.
This is so good. I knew it was going to be good because it's raspberry. It's so good. It's a raspberry wheat by Runner's High Brewing Company. So, yeah. Oh, my God. It's so good because it basically just tastes like raspberry soda. I'm going to try. Yeah. Just has a little bit of wheat, but not much.
That is great. That is great.
Yeah.
Oh, that is good.
You can have one later if you want.
Okay, cool.
We won't stop the show for it, but.
Right. That is really good.
Yeah, it is really good. If I would have known how good it was, I would have brought you one for sure.
Shout out to them.
Okay. But yeah, and not only am I like doing things like that, and quitting, I also, have gone to psychiatrist, and I'm finally getting on medication again, and I am really nervous to share this, but that just goes back to like the conditioning in society that like literally like all the advertisements, and you notice once you're not drinking, all the advertisements, all the music, all the TV is like pushing people to be alcoholics and saying it's cool to be an alcoholic. But then and cool to smoke and stuff, but then when like you're actually just trying to get medication to like solve all the issues that are making you an alcoholic, then that's not cool. You know what I mean? Like it's like the issue isn't that I need alcohol. The issue is I feel like this, like I feel not good enough. I feel uncomfortable as I am. I feel not happy in who I am. And so I need this external source to bring me dopamine and make me happy. Right. And yeah, so with that being said, let's get into the science. But, so, I do want to say, in 2015, or no. Did I say 20? Yeah, 2015, 21 million people had addiction, 15 million were alcohol, 3 million were opioid, and 50,000 people died of overdose in 2015. Guess, I don't know. I guess you're looking. I was going to say, guess what the number is. No, I didn't look.
Oh, okay, I was telling you the number you just said.
Okay. Well, yeah, 50,000 died in 2015. Guess how many last year? Or unalived, sorry.
Just last year, or from 2015 to...
Just last year.
Just last year?
Mm-hmm.
More than 50,000? More than 50,000?
No. But it is 107,543.
It's like double.
In 2023, yeah. And then, and that was a decrease of 3% from 111 and 29,000 people estimated in 2022.
Oh, wow.
So hopefully 2022 was the peak, but let's rapidly decline because honestly, we shouldn't have anybody dying from
100,000.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure. I mean, now granted, I'll also say like in these past recent years, you know that the big F has definitely made its grand debut. Fentanyl is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I don't know the specifics as far as fentanyl. I'm gonna look it up now, but I do know like a lot of people have been, overdosing a lot within like the last. I'm sure literally within last year. I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure. Most of that was probably. Fentanyl overdoses.
Yeah, for real.
Which I do want to look it up while we're talking.
Yeah, look it up. I'm going to get into dopamine. So, dopamine, like I was just saying, you need dopamine for survival, and it pushes you towards having more motivation, feeling happy, feeling like you can get out of bed and accomplish the world. And you get that through a lot of different ways. So, let's say when you just wake up in the morning, and you don't really need to know what nanograms per deciliter means, but just listen to the number. So, when you wake up in the morning and you have, on a normal day, you have 50 nanograms per deciliter of the dopamine hormone. On a really bad day, you have 40 nanograms of dopamine. So it's only a 10 nanogram difference. On your best day ever, the video that I watched, they use the example of you win the lottery, you have 2% body fat, and you live on the beach. So it's the best day ever, is what they said. But either way, anyone's personal best day ever is 100 nanograms per deciliter. So 100 is the max we're supposed to get to, ever. Your favorite food is 94. Sex is 92. Honestly, that explains why I like food more than sex. Because I get more dopamine from it. Yeah. Are you just looking too much? You're not.
I did, but I was catching.
You're gonna catch the facts when you listen to the episode.
Your favorite food is 94.
Yeah, okay. 94. Sex is 92. But
what sleep on the list?
No, not that he said. But
I was like, sleep gives me a lot of dopamine. Well,
I mean, yeah, it's working that stuff overnight. But. This is like perfect because it's not too sweet, but you taste all the raspberry. It doesn't even taste like beer.
This is crazy. This is the number of overdose deaths from fentanyl in the U.S. from 1999 to 2022. 1999, it was 730 people overdosed from fentanyl, and in 2022, it was 73,838,000 deaths of fentanyl.
Oh my god,
that is insane.
Yeah,
and to say that 102. Were overdosed, which means about 30,000 deaths last year was only from drugs that didn't have fentanyl in it.
Yeah.
That's insane. That is wild.
Yeah, you weren't wrong. Your random facts
proved
to be very true.
Sometimes it works.
Honestly, we should start playing a game of like fact or fiction of these random things. Because sometimes I say some shit too, so it ain't just you.
I think like a subconscious thing, you get bits of information, your brain kind of like.
And memory is so like fleeting and random. Like they say any of your memories are actually a little bit false, which I'm like, what? What about the ones that I like literally?
But they say you only see 30% of like anything or notice, so maybe. Yeah. Somewhere in the other 70%.
There's like a random person over there that wasn't there.
Right. Same way they like, everybody you dreamed about, you've actually seen in your life. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? It's crazy. But that is wild. The fentanyl is real, I mean, as far as what it's doing. I mean, it's one of those things, like they say, even if you touch it,
Yeah.
Like, you don't even have to be on it,
Yeah, like I was talking about in another episode about me and that dirty dollar that I was real concerned about getting, and not only was it like concerned about what was on it for it being gross, but also was it fentanyl? Because they were like years ago were leaving like 20s or whatever on the ground, like sometimes just dollars, and they spread some fentanyl on it enough where if you pick it up, you're off. You're off to see the wizard, the horrible wizard in hell. Or maybe the wizard in heaven, but the people doing it are definitely visiting the wizard in hell. Or out in the abyss. I don't know what I believe in, but I think that they stick around somewhere. The souls do. But that's a different subject. But meth, so remember, 92 is sex, 94 is food, 100 is best day of your life, on average 50. Meth pushes your brain up to 1100. Yeah.
Oh, that's why you get so...
Over 10 times what we should.
That's why you get so hooked.
Yeah.
They trying to get that back.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wild.
And that's the thing, when you break down the science, you understand how it leads to things and how it really is, like, out of, like, people who are addicted to its hands. Like, I never ever wanted to be addicted to a vape, and I know a vape isn't meth, but it's still the same chemical process. Right. I never ever wanted to be, ever. It's just one day it flipped. There was a little bit that I could, because that one doesn't skyrocket you quite as much, where you can do it a little casually before you get addicted, but it didn't take long for the addiction to flip in.
Right.
Some people, their brain chemistry does it on the first one, and you don't know.
Right.
You don't know what it's gonna do.
So I'll just get one, and then you get another one, and then how addictions go. Just kind of get to that point you need it, or you just sometimes one of the things where you just getting it. Oh, but subconsciously, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's never a conscious thing. Yeah. It's like only when you try to step away from it does it become like conscious, because you're like really trying to separate it.
I've done this a couple times with Black and Mild, like where I'm going to the stores, not even thinking about getting one night. You know what I'm saying? Not mind, I get to the register, and it's like my mouth is like Black and Mild. Let me get. It's like I really came here just for gas. You know what I mean? But and then I sometimes walk out with it like I didn't even. I didn't even get this. Like
for real.
Also,
it didn't specify which one, but it said Mary Jane, alcohol, and heroin is somewhere in the high, like multiple hundreds. Hundreds or multiple hundreds. It didn't specify which one. I tried to find what marijuana was specifically, because I was like, I want to know.
Yeah, we're in the hundreds, and the best day of your life is 100. I get it. I get it.
If it's better than the best day of your life, then you want to go back to it.
Right.
I feel like anything, like it'd be better, period, if all of us did none of it. But I feel like the alcohol and marijuana is something that could be done in moderation, and anything else could not. And you'd be okay. Like, it's still, like, there's still poison in alcohol. And then, I mean, you're still taking something with marijuana, but I feel like it's not. I don't know. I have a lot of opinions about how everybody hypes it up to be worse than it is, but whatever. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a doctor. And if the doctor is saying that it pushes our dopamine over the limit where, like, we are going to crave it. And if you like crave something, honestly, if you crave anything like food, any drug, sex, like all these things can become an addiction if you crave that thing,
right?
And
It's
seek whatever dopamine it gives you.
You know, I need it. Gotta have it right now. Like,
if you're thinking about it all day long, relying on it, like I have a food addiction, you know, and I'm trying to get to that 94 because I don't know what my best day ever is. So I'm trying to reach 94, and that makes so much sense.
This to me, so much sense to me too. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
But that's part of why I'm getting on medication, because it's like supposed to stop cravings like that. And also if my anxiety was in order, then I wouldn't crave the food as much, because I'm like, it's all to fix that of like, I just want to be happy and not feeling what I'm feeling right now. And then it's this whole cycle of like, I hate myself after I do it. So it never solves the problem. Plus all my issues with body image, then it goes on a whole cycle with that, because then I'm like, you did this to yourself, you stupid idiot, and what are you doing? And then I'm like, oh, I'm sad, I'm a stupid idiot, let me eat a little bit more. And it just is horrible process.
And I feel that too, and I be wonder that too, like even with like cannabis consumption, the lines between addiction and necessity sometimes, because I do, like, personally, I have high anxiety often. And I feel like comparatively to what would be diagnosed to me is worse than what I feel is even more natural. So I picked the lesser of the evils, I guess. Is kind of just how I see it. And again, I do believe in medicinal use of it. So
yeah, I do too. So, for me personally, I feel like I can't use it for a medicine other than for my stomach. Because it makes, unless I'm like just around friends, it makes my anxiety worse, because my social anxiety goes into hyper mode.
Yeah, and I got other friends where it's the same thing for them, where like they smoke too and feel the same way, like it raises their anxiety. And they do say that smoking does, just smoking anything just raises your anxiety. And so I never I guess saw it in my own some many times. Where I feel like it raises it more with or without it. Personally, I do feel like without it, it's raised more. Because it really does, like...
That might be because you're flooding the dopamine.
I don't know, maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know. I guess I would do like a trial study and go some time without it and then see.
Honestly, I recommend that to everyone, like for that or for alcohol. Like it's literally changed my entire life not drinking. For this long, it's changed my whole life. And I know that I will drink again, but I have such a different mindset with it, such a different relationship. And some people can't drink again. That's the nice thing, that I wasn't fully addicted. I just had some bad tendencies and had to figure that out. But like, some people can't. But I know for me, like, I will be able to return to it and have it in the moderation that I need. But and I have like barely smoked this year too, and I think at some point I'll probably just take months straight off, but I've like barely, I really rarely have. So yeah, like I feel like, but that wasn't anything I ever had an issue with, because I always did it in like a good amount of moderation, except for college.
Right.
But it's okay.
I feel that. That's how I feel about like drinking, because I mean, most thing I do as far as like a daily thing would be, smoking and stuff. But I can, typically drink on weekends. I can really go without drinking at all, or I'm okay with sometimes maybe having a beer. I'm not really big on any of those things, and food gets me sometimes too, but not like addicted to it anyway. Just like good food, and I like to and I eat when I'm hungry, but I eat. I try to eat good. I do live by compromise. I do live by the idea that you should never compromise good food or good sex. So make sure y'all coin that. Y'all can coin that and keep that for yourselves. But I feel like it's so true.
Fair.
Right? It's just so true.
And that's why I don't want to give up food. I just want to learn how to, like, not eat it out of emotion. And then also when I do eat it, eat smaller portions. And, like, chew more. I feel like part of my stomach issues is because I don't chew. I just inhale it.
Me too. I used to eat food so fast. I'm like, there's no way you ate that.
I know, and then I think about it later. I'm like, I wonder how big it is swimming around in my stomach acid. Like,
especially, getting older too. Like, I realized that, like, I think, because all before, like, I eat food fast. Like, I really do, you guys. I eat food so fast. Like,
me too.
It's going so fast, and I take, like, big bites and stuff. So it's like now, like, thinking that, like, well, maybe the reason why, like, maybe I need to try to slow it down. But like, I inhale food. It's like, and food never makes it home from, like, a drive-through. Never. Never.
No. And in the car, I shouldn't be eating in the car. Yeah. Although fries, honestly, you have to, or else they would be disgusting by the time you get home. But the rest of it, I could just roll up the bag and keep it for home.
I don't make it.
I know.
I tell people sometimes, they're like, you want to wrap this up? It ain't gonna make it that far. That's what I tell people. It's not gonna make it that far. I promise you.
Oh no.
Even when I try.
Yeah, so I did want to talk about this study that they did because it's really interesting. So they did a study where they had 3 different groups of people that they did this with. One of them, they didn't give water. One of them, they didn't give food. And one of them, they didn't give drugs that they were addicted to. So for 5 days, I think. But I'd have to look back. I guess I didn't write if it was 5 days or not. But I really do think it was 5 days. Or no, it might have been 3. 3 days, yeah. It was 3 to 5 days, definitely 3 to 5 days. But yeah, so they would have them in an MRI where they're scanning their brain. And the ones that they didn't give water to, they would drip some water on their feet and talk about water and talk about waterfalls and see how their brain activity moved. And the ones without water for 3 days, their brain activity lit up to the size of a baseball, right? And then with food, their brain lit up to the size of a basketball. Oh, wow. And then with drug and alcohol, their brain lit up to the size of a baseball field.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just talking about it.
Yeah. They asked them the question, when was the first time you, because with the food, they describe your favorite, be like, what's your favorite food, and blah, 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 and talk about food and what was so good, and blah, blah, blah. But with drug and alcohol, they asked them the question of, when was the first time you used whatever it is, and when was the last time you used it? Describe that. Describe that experience. And their brains lit up to a baseball field.
It's so crazy where, to me, that just really shows, maybe think about people who relapse, if they get just talking about it can spark that much dopamine want, or whatever it is, just even brain activity, period,
And that's what they talked about too, is it gets, when people are in court, they're 3 times more likely to get booked for the same. They did studies on it where they are 3 times more likely to get a higher sentencing for whatever they came in if it's later in the day versus when they first start their shift. Oh, wow. Because your brain can only take so many risks in answering those questions before it starts to act differently and want to change it up. And they all the people that they studied, they were different socioeconomic, they were different genders, they were different race, they were all super diverse group. And it didn't make a difference. It was literally how long the judge been working his job.
Wow.
And that's that crazy. And they even said, people with addiction, when they've quit, they're thinking about that thing 10,000 times a day and asking themselves if they're oh, should I do it? I want it. No, don't do it. I want it. No, don't do it. I want it. No, don't do it. And after a while, then they're I could probably just do it once.
Right.
Right. Or I earned this. I said no all day, so I can say yes today or right now.
Right.
It's the same thing. And that's what kills me about, like, I love all my friends, and I get it if you're a vape babe too, because I was a vape babe. But alcohol, it doesn't bother me, like I said, because there's a difference of that addiction. But it is hard to be around people who are vaping when I'm actively quitting. Yeah, it's very, very hard. Because everything in my brain is saying, like, give in. Like, it's, like, literally, like, just have one.
Right,
yeah, they fine. Like, it's, like, this, like, evil little... But it sounds like it's not actually evil. It sounds like, just have one. Yeah. You're going to be fine. Nothing is going to happen. You'll just have one and move on with your day.
Right.
Just have a little hit. You're not buying one, so it's okay, because you're just using one time of someone else's, and you're not going to have it later, so that's fine.
Right,
but it's still giving into that addiction, and then that I've given in since July. I've given in since then, and bought more vapes. Yeah. When I said I wasn't going to buy any more vapes, I was just going to smoke at work, and then that one that I had in July was going to be my last one. And before then, it was my last one, but I didn't hang out with my vape friends on the 4th, which is when I was going to give them all this bag, basically. And let them throw it away, because I couldn't. And then, like, I didn't see them, so then I changed the rules again. And I've been changing the rules so that I can keep on doing it, even though I know that I shouldn't be, because I know it's doing nothing but hurting me. No, it's making it harder for me to sing. Right. Like, my throat hurts. Like, I can look inside my nose and it's inflamed all day long.
Right.
You know, and I guarantee you a big part of that is this.
Yeah.
I won't know until I quit it.
Right.
But I bet, like, studies have shown. But I want the baseball field. I want to be playing at the game. I don't want to just be holding the baseball or holding the basketball. I want to be playing a whole motherfucking game on this baseball field.
I feel that.
And it makes so much sense. So it's, like, really, like, I don't know. I think the medication I'm getting on isn't just, like, to help with the addiction. It's also an anti-anxiety one. It just helps with that, which I am excited about, because I feel like it's just gonna, I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna keep on giving myself an excuse until I get rid of this anxiety.
Yeah.
And I'm really, like, so close to, like, wanting it so bad, but half of me just doesn't. Half of me just, like, really, I just wish that it wasn't so bad for you, and then I could do it forever.
Exactly. That'd be the bad part. Like, just a little bad for you, but
it's so bad for you.
It feels so good. I need it.
I know, but I don't. That's the crazy thing, is that it's because it's the psychological warfare that I already put on my body, clearly, and on my brain, to feel like I need it, because I know I don't actually need it. Like, I just need to find something else healthy that makes me feel that way. I need to, like, find, like, there can be good addictions. Like, if someone's addicted to yoga, or addicted to breathing deeply, or, like, you know, like, addicted to good skincare. Like, there are things that are healthy addictions. So I just want to find a little healthier addiction, I guess, to try to replace it. I'm going to try being addicted to breathing deeply, because that's what really helps me.
And it's so crazy.
That's why I like vapes.
And I thought about that too. I was like, well, essentially, that's really what it is. Like, they can't do deep breathing exercises anytime you're smoking. I mean, theoretically, that's literally what you're doing. You know what I mean? And I think it's just a psychological thing of having something inhaling when really all you're doing is deep breathing.
But not this anymore, because I don't do cigarettes. But
yeah, but you do.
But yeah. Yeah. It's like that.
And I think that's really what it is. It's like just it's literally that. Like, just really we just really need to do deep breathing exercises. You know. I
want to do that, but I'm so scared to do this, like, in the streets and be like, and nothing comes out. And I'm just like,
that did feel really nice. Though.
It did feel good. I want to hit it again.
That does feel
Yeah.
nice. That's the new one, y'all.
Mm.
We start
So
something.
we're gonna start normalizing that, so everybody will actually breathe deeply and get rid of their vapes.
Gotta got the true peace pipe.
Yeah. And you already got that peace pipe inside of you. Teddy wants a peace pipe. He's like, well, actually, my peace would be if y'all shut the fuck up.
Really, for sure. For sure.
Oh, this was interesting that I was like, damn, if I wasn't saving a little bottle of champagne, I might do this. But it might not work for me, actually, because I'm not addicted to it. This was an addiction. But, so it lit up almost the same amount from people that were 30 days sober from either alcohol or opioids to 1 year. Like, it lit up the same. They brought the same people back for a year and tested them from 90, 60. Like, they, like, went each month, I guess, until they were at a year. And it lit up almost the same exact amount that entire time.
They cleaned that whole year?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it didn't change. It didn't, like, they did this study for clearly a long time. It didn't change and start lighting up, like, smaller amounts until after 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I will say for anybody's like past 2 years, man.
I know, man. Like you're good now. You go stay clean, baby.
You had greater chances. I mean, I'm sure it's always still a struggle.
I mean,
you know,
yeah, I know.
No matter what, but at least we know, like, okay, you know what I'm saying? You know, I know a lot of people who get they get consumed, which is easy to do. Of course, we talking about these kind of levels again, consumed in that addiction. So sometimes you don't feel like there's ever a way out, but. You know, news like that shows that, you know, you just got to do a day at a time, folks.
Yeah, literally.
A day at a time.
And then we'll add up to everything you want.
Yeah.
Plus, also, when you get that extreme amount of dopamine, your brain, like, literally starts to produce less dopamine naturally. And that's why you also feel like you need it, because your body is at a deficit. When if you wouldn't have started that thing, then it would have stayed at a great neutral place.
Yeah.
And like sometimes the neurons die off, and like a lot of some cells can regenerate, but from what I found, some neurons can't. I don't know. It was a little confusing with the neurons and cells. I really tried, but I didn't have enough time to deep dive into that, because some places were saying neurons definitely can't regenerate, and some were saying that they can. But I'm like, I feel like neurons are in a cell, like it's right. Neurons, protons, and electrons. Oh well, there's neurons, protons, and electrons. Because neurons are neutral. Yeah. So that's why I'm like, well, then how can cells regenerate without the neurons? But regardless,
like you got me heavy on the whole like scientific.
Let us know in the comments.
Right. You know, I'm gonna go deep in that real quick. You know, we digress.
Yeah, but I did have some shit about neurons and shit here. Hold up. Our brain elasticity. Neuroplasticity refers to your brain's ability to restructure or rewire itself when it recognizes the need for adaptation. In other words, it can continue developing and changing throughout life. So you can help your brain health and make it stronger and create more positive things in it to make your brain better. And I looked up an article that is from Healthline. Shout out to y'all. But it talked about 6 different things you could do. One of them is playing video games.
Oh, yes.
Because it helps with motor coordination, visual recognition, and spatial navigation, memory, reactive time, reasoning, decision making, problem solving, resilience, cooperation, and team participation.
I do that now. I like that. That's my go-to. Mobile games, lot.
See, my go-to is what I'm doing right now, and it's learn another language. So it'll help with, obviously with language, but attention, memory, emotions, motor skills. And then, so it had and actually learning a language created more density of gray matter in your brain, and that's what gray matter had to deal with. It's like in those parts of your brain actually or in the language, attention, memory, emotions, and motor skills, and increasing your gray matter density can improve your function, especially as you age. Nice. And help you avoid dementia. So learn another language, if nothing else, to avoid dementia.
Absolutely.
And help your memory and hippocampus. Did y'all actually use hippocampus? We used hippocampus. It's like it's a website to I can't remember if it was some studying website or something like that, and we used it in high school.
Sounds familiar.
And I didn't learn that like what hippocampus actually is, like what the hippocampus is, until I played that game, because so that but yeah, the hippocampus literally affects your bodily functions and is in the center of your brain, and it plays a big role in memory. Yes, so it's ironic that purposefully that they named the learning website hippocampus.
Oh, yeah, that does make sense.
Shout out to y'all if y'all still around. I don't know. And they also help with white matter. And make some music. It can help with mood, ability to learn, remember new things, concentration, and focus. You could travel. That helps in so many ways. But if you can't travel, you can try taking a long walk through a neighborhood, going grocery shopping in a different part of town, going for a hike, or virtual travel. You can like go on like National Geographic or all these websites, or on YouTube. You know, like the doctors have in their offices, like where you're like going through the Great Wall of China.
Oh yeah,
like all these things. Make you feel like you're make you feel like they're traveling. I was reading the next one. So exercise.
Exercise is a big one.
Yeah.
It does some great things. Boosts a lot of natural hormones in your body. Really good too.
Get you some stronger muscles, improve your fitness and health, better sleep, as well as brain activity. Yeah, everything. Literally everything. And then making art. Yes. So it can help you see the world in a new, unique place.
I know people who do psychedelics like say the same thing.
Then what?
What you say about make them see what?
Oh, creating art can help you see the world in a new, unique way. Oh my god. I was just like, why are you bringing up psychedelics when we're doing addiction? Some people are addicted to psychedelics. Which literally will break your brain.
Yeah, really will.
It'll break your brain.
Yeah, it will. It's crazy.
And you'll never be the same. Ever.
You've seen like activity with people psychedelics, like it's like literally both, like your whole brain is like fully active. It's wild.
Yeah, and doing that consistently, like...
Yeah, you're not supposed to do it consistently.
No, you're not at all. At all. It's honestly, some people can never do it ever, and you won't know until you try, because I know people that it's flipped them into schizophrenia. Yeah. But besides that, if you can handle it, but you don't know until you know, it's only supposed to be once every couple months or so.
Yeah, that's what they say.
But you don't know if you can until you try it, so you might break your brain the first time.
That's the thing about some of those drugs, even for myself. Like,
some of them break them worse.
You know, it's like, would you try it? No, because some of those like one time, and it's like
one time can ruin your whole life.
Yeah, whole life, like and addiction is it's one of those things. It's a sad thing. I mean, we see it a lot, especially of course like out here in these Atlanta streets. Sometimes you see a lot of addicts. It's just so sad of like especially some people have like where they were prominent people in society, or all these things, and just whatever, and their whole life, in seek of the drug or the need for more, and it's just so real, and even like past like about 2 years now, I lost like 2 people to drugs and stuff, and addictions, and one was young, and that was alcohol, and it's just crazy to be able to think, because even when they go through the process of the funeral and all that stuff, it was just like, wow, like this person's like like early 30s and gone because they just consume too much. It's one of those things where, because with alcohol too, a lot of things, it just got to that point for them where it was so much to where, your body started becoming dependent on it, and now you need it, and now you got you got a kidney thing, so it's like your body can't even cope without it,
Yeah.
And so it got to that point, and it was just so sad because it's like, it was one of the things that, you think disease or something you can't control, or, we need to get us out of here, or something that, again, like you have those addictions you don't have control, but at the same time, it's one of those things like, damn, like, this was something that you kind of really brought onto you, and it's just sad situation, and then my uncle passed, overdose, a fentanyl overdose, got him. And it was one of those things. It's like, somebody who, battled with substance abuse for a long time, so it wasn't like we were new to it. But that's the thing, too, where I've been seeing a lot of, like, older people really going out because, 70s and 80s, early 90s, well, we know now, like, the drugs were different. They were, So a lot of the stuff that a lot of these people have been doing, it has been that, like, a lot of people that I know that's, like, been passive from it, they were doing their thing for a long time, years and decades, but then now that the things have changed, the recipes have changed, and they're thinking, okay, I can just do it like I used to, but now, the newer people are putting harder stuff, so they're doing, probably what they normally would do, that's more concentrated, and again, got other stuff in it, and like immediate, and it was one of the things, it was like, as soon as my uncle did it, like immediately, like they said, it happened so fast, like done.
I know, like someone else, they thought they were doing something fine, and it was, not fine necessarily, but fine. Like, it wouldn't have, they wouldn't have lost their life otherwise if fentanyl wasn't in it. Yeah, it's crazy, It's wild, like I said, that's the thing too, like, the scary part of it all is that, again, these things are getting stronger. Before, again, it was just like, opioid, opioid's a little bit newer, but it's like, before it's like Coca-Cola, before, like Coca-Cola, cocaine, it's moved up, but you see, like, through the years, it's got stronger, is what I mean, like, we just had these basic things, even things like meth and stuff now, what I'm saying, it's like, all this new stuff that's come out in, like, the last 5-10 years, that's, like, stronger than, it's not your mama's, man.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It was worse because like another 10 years or 20 years. And again, the need too for people that need to just, sad as people need to have, the need for those kind of vices. But I get it too at the same time because I think and believe that we all have our vices. We all have something, and for some reason, I'm not a drug addict, but like I said, I could be addicted to food. Yeah. I could be addicted to, I know some people who are addicted to scratch-offs. You know what I mean? Like,
and it's not like their fault either because it's literally their brain subconsciously telling them that this will solve all your problems. Like, that's one thing he went into is that it literally puts you in survival mode when you don't have dopamine, and because when you're not using, you don't have that dopamine, you're like, okay, I need this to survive and to live. And that's how a lot of people, if they're like truly addicted to things like the meth and heroin and all these other like street drugs that are harder and more expensive, that they'll end up taking grandma's jewelry and pawning it off, or like going and robbing some place and taking that money and doing it because they are in full fight or flight mode. It is as if their body was stranded on an island for weeks and they are like desperately needing like food or water to get out, and this is like their food or water.
It's wild. It was wild, and things that people would do.
It's like the thing that they feel like is making their life more full and keeping them away from death is actually pushing them towards it. Yeah. And then the escape. Like I don't know what those the harder drugs feel like being under them. But I would assume that it is. Like say you're talking about 1,000% levels. I mean, I could just assume just just super euphoric, and I get again with that greater need for it because you get that. Again, that's super high. That's the only way you can get that.
Super high. Like, oh my God, I feel like I'm invincible. I feel like I'm this and that, and you know, and then it's like you want to feel that again. I need to, you know, I need to get that again, or that rush again. And, you know, it gets in that loop. So I definitely feel like, you know, if anybody has addiction problems, for sure, definitely check out those resources. Seek resources. I mean, it is tough. You know what I mean? Like it's a tough thing. You know, to like say you're talking about 2 years. You know, where at best, where like again, we're talking a lifetime of struggle. With at least maybe 2 years or so of just constant.
Well, that's one thing I was saying too, is that once you're addicted to meth, though, it like, which could happen the first time, it's just the first time it gives you that 1100. Because after that, it takes way more. Like when you've been doing meth for a while and you have to keep on increasing and increasing and increasing to even get close to what it was the first time, you like after a while, it's hard for you to even achieve 50 nanograms. Which, if you remember, is what we said is the base, right? When you wake up, you already got 50.
Wow, so that's just to feel like probably normal.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Which makes sense because people
like
kind of
to feel neutral
like
and indifferent, you need like a lot
to
even feel that. And that's why they keep on pushing even more.
It's so bad because people, you hear like, you know, you've seen people who are heavily, you know, if you've seen like any like reality or experience real people, you know, in your life who are in the peaks of those addictions where, you know, it's like that, like, you know, sort of like body hurt, and they just, you know, they really can't, they're literally suffering, feel like they're suffering without it, like it's so sad, you know, it's just, you know, for something just to have that kind of control over you and your body and your mind is, it's just,
and what's even more sad and like a bigger reason to like please never start these things is that during the recovery, now I don't know if they ever make it back up to what was normal, but I know during recovery they go down to 10 nanograms per deciliter, and that's like what your lowest was earlier, if you remember, was 40.
Right.
So they go down to 10, and then the highest that they're able to achieve at that point is 20. Yeah.
That says so much. Like that
scientifically
explains so much. Like it's so crazy. Like,
it does.
Wow, that explains so much.
Like you literally go into primal mode to get that because it drags you down so much when you're without it.
Sheesh.
And your brain says you will be unalived if you don't have this. But there are treatments out there where for opioids that are 75% effective, for alcohol that's 65 to 70% effective, and then they compared that, which because it sounds like kind of low even though it sounds high, but also strep throat using an antibiotic is also 75% effective. So that the fact that we have opioid medication like to get you off opioids and it's 75% effective too, same as strep throat, like that's amazing.
That's amazing. That's really good. That's good to know. Huh? That brings on the fact that there's hope. There's hope for people. There's resources for people.
And so please find a psychiatrist if you or anyone you know is struggling. In addition to calling 988, the suicide hotline, or the 1-800-662-4357 Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. That administration can put you in the right hands to get help on whatever you need specifically too. They have a bunch of resources. They're like a hub of resources. Then there's a bunch of other, if you Google, there's like countless other ones. Some of them are paid for. Definitely do the research into what you're looking into, because I've gone to therapists that have made me regress rather than progress. So you just always have to be really diligent with that. But there are other resources that are for sure checked out. And yeah, I mean, any resource is better than none. So, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. It just makes you just think about it all. But
I know. This was a heavy episode, so we appreciate y'all being here.
Yeah. Sure.
And I hope that the strange addiction made you laugh to gear up for what could make you cry. I don't know.
And if you need to pick me up and go back to the beginning, get picked back up and then
or go to a different episode if you want. Go to our other games episodes, or whatever makes you feel the happiest. Because that's the thing is like, we all deserve to feel happy and safe, and we all feel it from different things. And I hope that you're able to find something that is actually good for you, that will keep you feeling good and safe forever, instead of take you back to a place of fear and anxiety and worthlessness,
right.
Which is what happens in a cycle of addiction. Mm-hmm. So I really hope you honestly aren't addicted to anything, even if it seems positive. Right. I hope you're able to find a balance in life.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And it's all about the balance of it,
Yeah.
And you doing, again, positive things that's going to boost up that dopamine. Because that's really what it is. Those levels, that's where it comes from. That's what, naturally we want to feel happy. And a lot of times I get
happiness is fleeting,
and
even without drugs.
Yeah, I was going to say I get it. Because life is difficult. You know? Life has its challenges. And so I know a lot of times we do these things in order just to kind of cope, get through, just live the next day or the current day, but there's always more days, there's always more life, there's always more hope, there's always, other sides of the coin, there's always better, for sure, always better. Mm-hmm. You can't see it, there's always better. And again,
there is
a lot more resources than I thought, so even more so.
And way more than what I even shared, way more.
Yeah.
So
definitely look into it, especially if you know people who are addicted. That's the big thing. Don't stop
those
loving
are the
those people.
Best.
Yeah, don't stop trying to, save those people. Again, people can only save themselves and only do so much for themselves. But
the best resource is someone who was addicted and has fully recovered and been out for years. Those are, I think, even better resources most of the time than even the resources on here, just because they know exactly what you're going through.
Right.
But a lot of people that do work at addiction hotlines were also addicted to things and are better. Like, I've had even doctors who have been, like, addicted to things, worked through it, and have been, like, recovered for decades, who have been able to talk to me about things. So, and it helps. And it's kind of, like, even though it's scary, because I feel like we look at doctors of, like, superhuman beings that are supposed to do, like, nothing off of perfect.
Right.
but also making them have something that makes them, like, not be this perfect robot makes me feel less alone and less hard on myself, while also giving me hope that, like, hey, you've made it X amount of years and you say it's the best decision of your life still after all this time, and that gives me hope that, like, there actually is better on the other side of it, not worse, even though I know that logically it makes me feel it too, which is what's gonna make me want to do it more, or, like, want to not do it anymore, like, want to stay sober and stay off the bullshit.
And as they say, it takes 21 days to make and or break a habit. 90 days.
I think longer than that with addiction.
I was making a little disclaimer afterwards.
Okay, sorry.
With addiction, it's a little, but I just say that you just start with that. Just start with
have another habit instead of it that's healthy for you.
Then you'll begin to make that a thing.
Yeah.
And then
my sister used to go for runs when she wanted to smoke cigarettes. Every single time she would go for a run.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't matter where, when, she'd go for a run. And
that's a good
it
way.
helped.
Yeah, that's a good way. Yeah. Yeah. Sheesh.
Okay. Shout out to you, sis. I hope that was okay to share.
Yeah.
I know you can't give me consent anymore, but if you want to send a sign that was okay.
It's okay.
And if you sent a clear sign that it wasn't, then I guess I'll take it out. But I think it helps.
I think it helps somebody.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's an episode.
That's it? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, well.
Okay, love you. Bye. Stay safe, y'all. Oh, my goodness.
Stay safe, bye, too.